From the Caspian shore to the snowy ramparts of the Tian Shan and Altai, Kazakhstan is a country where horizons seem to run forever. Look closer, and the landscape fractures into deserts with singing dunes, canyons carved like cathedral walls, alpine lakes, the color of turquoise glass, and futuristic cities that glow at night like constellations landed on Earth. This is a land built on motion, of winds, caravans, herds, and ideas, where ancient nomadic rhythms meet the ambitions of a young, modern state. Long before borders were lines on maps, this was a crossroads. Stone Age hunters left petroglyphs at places like Tamgali, chiseling sun gods, warriors, and animals into warm rock faces. Later came the Saka steppe ancestors whose royal kurgans hid gold so finely worked that a single golden man discovered near Almaty could carry the memory of a people in his armor. Turkic Khanates rose and fell, their riders mapping the grasslands with hoofbeats and trade. When the Silk Road unfurled through Central Asia, Kazakh oases and caravanserais linked one world to another. China's silks, Persia's ideas, India's spices, the Mediterranean's gold and stories, all met on these routes. The Mongol storm swept through in the 13th century, and new orders emerged. Later, the Kazakh Khanate took root, blending clan traditions, diplomacy, and the nomad's code of hospitality that still warms travelers today. The steppe taught practical wisdom. Life in a yurt light, strong and portable answered the demands of seasonal movement. Felt, bone, leather, and wood were transformed into art that was both beautiful and supremely useful. A well-bred horse wasn't just a mount, but a companion and a ticket to survival, swiftness, and status. Music unfolded on a two-string Dombra, where a single melody called a kui could carry a hero-esque journey or a landscape-esque mood. No lyrics needed. Eagle hunters in the eastern highlands forged partnerships with golden eagles, a bond of trust and patience that could last for years. These traditions weren't performances. In the 19th and 20th centuries, railways and cities grew, and the steppe story intertwined with industry and science. One lonely expanse of desert near the Sir Darya became Baikonur, the springboard from which humanity first broke the leash of gravity. In 1961, a rocket from here carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit, and the Kazakh sky acquired a new dimension. Today, Baikonur remains a working spaceport where launch towers punctuate the horizon, and the Earth itself feels like a threshold. Independence came in 1991, and with it, a nation determined to shape its own future. The capital moved from Almaty to the windswept heart of the steppe rose, as Astana, a city of airy bridges, curving glass and audacious silhouettes. The Baikonur Tower, inspired by a mythic tree and golden egg, stands like a modern totem. The tinted Khan Shatir stretches skyward like a sail. Sweeping avenues lead to the Hazrat Sultan Mosque with its domes and quiet marble echo. At night, the city's lights sketch a new script across the sky, a dialogue between architects and the endless plain. Yet if Astana is a statement, Almaty is a feeling. Leafy, mountain-kissed, and creative. Here, the Tian Shan stands so close it seems you could lean into the clouds. The Madu ice rink once bred speed skaters who seem to move as fast as the wind, and the Shambalak ski resort answers winter with powder in sharp blue mornings. Down in the streets, cafes hum, art galleries experiment, and a tree-lined rhythm sets its own pace. The apples here aren't ordinary. Wild stands of Malus sievers believed to be ancestors of domestic apples still dot the hills. A living memory of the fruit's long journey across continents. The natural highlights, too, are a kind of atlas. In Altyn-Emel National Park, a singing dune rises like a sleeping whale, dry grains rubbing together in windscapes that make the sand hum. Charyn Canyon, nicknamed a mini Grand Canyon, paints its walls in copper, russet, and gold, a geologic library you can walk. Eastward, the Kolsai Lakes are a chain of alpine mirrors, and nearby Kaindy Lake preserves an underwater forest, silver trunks of drowned spruce rising through crystal water like a ghostly city. In the west, the U.S. tight plateau folds into chalk cliffs and lunar flats, while the Caspian shores are home to seals and salty winds. Lake Bokash is uniquely divided between fresh and saline halves, as though a single body of water could indeed decide which world it belongs to. And across the deserts, the tulips so often linked to Ottoman gardens and Dutch fields first learned to bloom in the wild Kazakh spring. Sacred spaces anchor all this motion. In Turkestan, the mausoleum of Khoja Ahmed Yasawi, master of Sufi poetry and teaching, has drawn pilgrims for centuries. Its deep blue tiles and timeless symmetry feel like water in the desert. Still, sustaining, a place to gather and remember. Elsewhere, the ruins of Otira whisper of scholars and sieges, and the caravan routes that brought silk and scripture, music and medicine to the same dusty courtyards. The pulse of culture is as steady as a horse's gait. At a celebration, you might hear the sharp jubilation of the Dombra, or the mournful resonance of the kobis, one of the region's oldest instruments. Epic poetry still matters, and storytellers can turn an evening into a journey. On Norris, the spring equinox, families open their doors wide, share a special 7-ingredient soup, and decorate with white to invite renewal and peace. Sporting passions run ancient and modern. Kokber, a fierce horseback team, game swirls like a human tornado on the steppe. Wrestling and boxing fill stadiums. Football, soccer, unites city neighborhoods and the mountains. Forgive no one who forgets to respect them. Food knits together history and hospitality. The national dish, Beshbarmak, 5 fingers, is a steaming memory of the nomad table. Wide noodles, rich broth, tender meat, and the companionship of a long ride's end. Kazy, a horse meat sausage, carries spice and ceremony. Baursak, golden pillows of fried dough, arrive on platters that empty faster than anyone admits. And a pot of tea is never far away. Kazakh cuisine absorbs the journeys of its people. Uyghur-style lagman noodles and samsa pastries, Uzbek-influenced plov, airy modern patisseries in the cities. Fermented mare's milk, kumi, has a tart, invigorating ring to it, while shubet made from camel milk is a desert's answer to thirst. The flavors are generous, the portions welcoming, and the meaning simple. You are a guest, therefore, you are home. Wildlife is tough and surprising. The saiga antelope, with its bulbous soft nose, looks like a creature from an old legend, yet survives scorching summers and blizzards by the same practical magic as any steppe traveler. Snow leopards haunt the high ridges, where only the raven sees them. Ibex pick their way up cliffs that would frighten a shadow, and in the spring, larks stitch the sky with song. In reserves and parks, rangers and scientists work to protect these threads of life so that future caravans of schoolchildren, hikers, pilgrims can trace the same bright paths. Kazakhstan's story is also an intellectual one. In classrooms and labs, in cultural centers and tech parks, a generation raised after independence speaks multiple languages and thinks in global trajectories. Astana hosted a World Expo on the future of energy, asking what a windy, sunny steppe might teach the world about power and responsibility. In art studios, old motifs, sram's horns, steppe waves, eagle feathers reappear in contemporary designs. In music videos and film, the steppe becomes a stage again, just as it was for mounted archers and traveling poets. Travelers often come for the big pictures: a city of glass on a grass plain, a canyon of fire-colored stone, a dune that sings when no one is listening. They stay for smaller scenes: a grandmother's smile over a teapot, a Dombra player whose fingers tell a 1,000-year story, a child chasing a kite whose tail, for a heartbeat, looks exactly like a galloping horse's mane. The country's strength is not only in size, though it is vast, but in synthesis. Horse and rocket, yurt and skyscraper, steppe and skyline. The past is not a museum, it's a set of tools. The future is not an idea, it's a road under construction. And there's always room on it for one more traveler.